Hi, I'm Leon from E4Effort, and this is PD Part 2, How to Score Student Effort. E4Effort is a small company located in Minnesota. Please consider helping us grow by number 1, telling teachers and administrators about E4Effort. Number 2, going to the Apple App Store or Google Play and giving the E4Effort scoring app 5 stars. And number 3, liking E4Effort YouTube videos, Facebook page and posts, and mentioning us on Twitter. To assist in locating specific content in this screencast, sections are separated by red dividers that show the title and duration of the next section. Some ideas from the book Performance Management that were examined in PD Part 1 will be referenced in PD Part 2, specifically the PIC-NIC analysis of the ABC model. The ABC model is used to demonstrate that behaviors change in two ways: by what comes before behavior, antecedents, and by what follows behavior, consequences. In this model, the consequence or effects of behavior are represented by 3 letters. A consequence of behavior can either be positive or negative. The consequence can occur immediately after the behavior or in the future, and the consequence can be likely certain to occur or likely uncertain. Notice that the most powerful reinforcement of behavior occurs when the consequence is either positive, immediate, and certain, or negative, immediate, and certain. In terms of maintaining or changing behavior, the authors write, "The closest thing we have to a behavioral law is that behavior is a function of its consequences." With this powerful statement in mind, let's analyze effort scoring as a consequence of school-based behavior. When a teacher scores student effort for various school-related behaviors, high scores would be considered positive, low or middle scores would be considered negative. Note, scoring is based on an estimate of individual student capabilities. In other words, the same effort may be scored high for one student and mid-level for another student. Final effort scoring should always occur near the end, at the end, or just after the time allotted for a school behavior. Students should earn their effort score by applying effort first and receiving their effort score at the end of the school-related behavior. When effort scoring is done consistently, students learn to expect it, and therefore the effort scoring is categorized as certain to occur. Notice in the graph, if students feel effort scoring is uncertain, the reinforcing power drops considerably. When done consistently as a consequence of school-based behavior, effort scoring will have the highest reinforcing power. Before I begin to discuss how to score each of the effort categories, let's make sure that you know how to obtain and open your effort scoring app. Use the effort scoring app from a smartphone, tablet, or Chromebook. You can download your effort scoring app from the Apple App Store or Google Play. But first, if you signed up for E4Effort through Clever, Google Classroom, or GG4L, you will need to create an E4Effort password. Click on the button at the top of your teacher dashboard. Enter a password to be used to open your effort scoring app. You can always change your password from settings/account or effort scoring app. Next, go to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search E4Effort. Download the app. Clever, Google, and GG4L users enter your school email and your E4Effort password. Regular E4Effort subscribers use the email and password you entered at sign-up. This is a good location to pause the video and take time to obtain your effort scoring app. Then, as I go over each of the 5 categories, test app features using the fake demo course. When you select a course, it will open to the Ready category. From the bottom bar, you can select another effort category or recognition. The Ready category. For Ready, the antecedent can be the teacher ringing a bell or some other signal for students to listen. Students may need to be reminded that their Ready score begins with this signal. The Ready behavior that students get credit for is whatever expectations the teacher has previously defined. For example, on time, in seat, with supplies, quietly listening. The consequence for Ready behavior is the effort score plus whatever other consequences are in place. First, mark all absent and tardy students and any students that do not deserve full Ready credit. Then, near the end of the time allotted to Ready, use the Score All Students button to mark the rest of the students as Ready. You may change scores until scoring is reset. For example, if an absent student shows up late without a pass, change their absent score to tardy. Tardy without a pass is recorded as 0 out of 10 points. Absent and tardy excused do not receive points and therefore have no effect on student ready percentages. Since ready scoring is used for attendance, each course may have one ready score per student per day. All other effort categories allow multiple scores per student per day. The ready category will automatically reset each evening. The participation category. For the participation category, student names are listed in a random order. When I was using the volunteer method for student participation, I would routinely see the same 2 to 5 students raising their hands each class period. Not only was this irritating, but I also made the mistake of thinking that if I had an exchange with a student volunteer, a majority of the class would hear the exchange and correct their thinking. But in a class in which only volunteers are selected to participate, students can make the decision to check out, and many do. I used what is known as cold calling for the last 9 years of my career, and what a difference it made. Not only did student engagement shoot way up, but the number of decisions I needed to make each day dropped considerably. Who should I call on next was no longer a decision I needed to make. The app told me. Using cold calling communicates to students to stay engaged and ready to share their thoughts, and that the teacher wants to hear from all students. Here's how I used to introduce cold calling to students. Okay class, listen up. One of the practices that we will be using in this class is that when selecting students for participation, I will be using an app to tell me who to call on next. So, unless I ask for hands, please keep your hands down. This practice is known as cold calling. Cold calling ensures that student participation opportunities are spread out evenly and allows me to better gauge student understanding. Sometimes you will be sharing your opinion. No wrong answers possible. But often a content question will be asked. Just share your best guess and don't worry about being wrong. Incorrect responses help me know when to revisit content or go deeper. Also, when asking for opinions or going over questions, I will normally give you time to formulate your responses, either by giving you time to write something down or time to discuss with another student, which you have most likely done many times before, called Think, Pair, Share. I want this to be low stress, and so when your name is called, you have the option of passing. On-task students who choose to pass will be given a score of 7 out of 10. With the category participation, I am scoring attentiveness, not right or wrong answers. And I prefer to hear your thinking, but if you don't have an answer or a good guess, you may choose to repeat the question in order to show you are paying attention. This is a higher score than just passing, and if it's new content, it could be as high as 10 out of 10. I want to keep the class moving, so if I call your name and there is no response, I will call your name once more before giving you a low score and moving on. If you frequently choose to pass or give no response, I will need to meet with you to find out what's up. Does anyone have a question about student effort in the participation category? Note, when meeting with a no-response student, this could be a situation where a student has some anxiety issues and wants to be skipped without their name being called. After they have had time to witness cold calling in action, some of these students agree to participate in a select type of cold calling. For example, only questions with short answers. Now let's look at how different types of student participation fit into the ABC model of behavior consequences, and how to use participation with the effort scoring app. The antecedent is the teacher presenting some review questions. The teacher asks the students to answer these questions. What are the names of these planets, and what is one fact about each planet? The teacher gives the students a few minutes to discuss the questions with their Think, Pair, Share partners. Expected student behavior is that they will discuss their thinking with their share partners and later record answers into their notebooks. While watching students discussing answers, you can make sure your effort scoring app is set the way you want it. The effort scoring app is presently showing the Ready category. Notice the Ready category is set to lecture seating. Len is in Group 1, Seat 1, Alice Group 1, Seat 2. These seat numbers will appear with student names in the random ordered participation category. Select participation from the bottom menu bar. Many of the students have been scored during previous class periods. In order to equalize participation opportunities, do not reset participation until all students have had a turn. Depending on class size, this can take numerous class periods. Also, you may prefer to score participation using Card View. Select the top menu bar and then Cards. Seat numbers tell you where the randomly selected student is located. This is especially helpful for teachers who see many students throughout the day. Time is up and the teacher tells the students, If your name is selected, name a planet that has not yet been identified, or tell us a fact about one of the planets. The teacher then calls the first student. To spread ownership, I recommend including the Think Pair Shares student's name as well, especially for the first selected student. Marion, what did you and Annika come up with? Marion states that planet C is Earth. Correct. Alfonso says planet D is Mars. Correct. Derek chooses to pass, select more scoring options, and then a 7 score. Next is Alice. Alice chooses to share a fact. The only planet that we know has life is Earth. Correct. And on you go until 8 students have responded. Many of the facts that students have discussed with their share partners have not yet been presented. And this is a good time to stop cold calling students and switch to hands. We are now going to hands. Does anyone have a fact that has not yet been shared? Often the pump has been primed, so to speak, and many hands shoot up. At this juncture, my first check is to see if there are students who have previously been reluctant to share their thoughts. For example, does Derek, the student who chose to pass earlier, have his hand up? Another type of student participation is reading aloud. The behavior we want from all students is to read along silently and be ready to take over if their name is called. To receive a high effort score, a student should start reading immediately and read their best with proper voice level and inflections. Only the teacher decides when and if to aid students who pause or mispronounce a word. Hints for reading aloud from Teach Like a Champion. Change often and quickly. Please begin reading, Fred. Students will follow more closely if you break up bigger paragraphs, giving each reader from 2 to 4 sentences. Thank you, Fred. Next is Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. We'll hold here for a comprehension question. Read the question first before calling a student's name. Otherwise, some students may check out. Why were Venus and Mercury ruled out as colonization planets? That question is for Len. Len concisely responds, "Too hot." Notice that Len was the last student to be called for this round of participation. Select the Confirm button to start a new random participation list. The participation category may also be used to hear student opinions, or to check understanding of instructions right before starting a learning task or activity. How much water should be used in part 1 of today's lab? Joel responds 250 milliliters. No, that's incorrect. Score Joel an 8, lower if you observed him distracting other students during instructions. Margaret, 750 milliliters. Correct. The participation category is also useful for choosing students to have a turn at something. Let's say you want to select 1 or 2 teacher assistants each week who will help you with various menial tasks such as passing out papers, writing on the whiteboard, sharpening pencils, etc. To ensure that everyone gets a turn to be the teacher assistant, you need a subcategory that will just be used for this purpose. You can create subcategories from your effort scoring app by selecting the menu bar at the top and then click on Create New Subcategory. You can also assign subcategories from your teacher dashboard. Select subcategories using the Settings button on the side panel. Choose the button in the upper right corner plus New Subcategory and complete the form. Using the teacher dashboard to assign subcategories is the better option if you plan to assign the same subcategory to multiple courses and/or multiple effort categories. The 3 effort categories that allow subcategories are participation, on task, and behavior. The term general on the menu bar means that no subcategory has been selected. To select a subcategory, click on the menu bar and then the desired subcategory. To keep track of who has had a chance to be the assistant teacher, give a score to each selected student. Some students will decline this volunteer opportunity. Give them a score, perhaps a 9.5, to show their turn for this round has already occurred. Next is the on task category. The 2 most valuable effort categories are participation and on task. On task because being on task is what we ask students to do more than anything else. The antecedent is the teacher explaining the learning task or activity. After the directions for the learning task have been given, inform students of the behavior needed for a high effort score. Today I will be scoring your effort based on: do you start right away and stay focused? Do you work cooperatively with your group? Are you trying your best to accurately complete your copy of the practice quiz? Before starting the task, use the participation category to check for understanding. Name one thing I will be scoring your effort on today. Julia? Call on 4 or more students to really drive home behavior expectations. The behavior we are expecting from all students is that they stay focused and on task. The consequence is a PIC. If they meet expectations, their score will be positive. Final scoring will occur immediately at or near the end of the time allotted. And when scoring effort is routinely done in a class, students will believe that it is certain to occur, meaning there is a high probability. Recall that PICs have the highest reinforcing power. Here is a bird's eye view of a classroom with 6 groups of 4 students. Students are represented by circles, and the teacher is represented by a red box. Suggestions for on-task best practice. Have assignment directions and effort expectations listed on a projector screen or on a whiteboard. After directions and effort expectations have been given and reviewed, students move to group seating. One student claimed he didn't know where to go for group seating. Next, the practice quizzes are passed out. When all groups have begun the assignment, the teacher checks the settings of the effort scoring app's on-task category. Depending on how much time the students are being given to complete an assignment, the teacher may choose to raise or lower the point value of a scoring event by clicking on the Points button. Instead, the teacher opens the menu and selects the subcategory Practice Quiz and the seating named Purple. The menu bar now shows that students are assigned to their purple groups and that effort scores will be recorded to an on-task subcategory called Practice Quiz. The maximum point value is 30. The point value was set when the subcategory was created via the teacher dashboard. This point value is not locked. It can be changed before scoring begins. Most students will be scored at or near the end of the learning task using the Score All Students button. Until using the Score All Students button, only score students whose effort level is below full credit. These are preliminary scores that may be adjusted at any time. For example, Bobby was the student who chose to go to the wrong seat. And these 2 students had to be told to stop talking during directions. The teacher's goal is to make numerous circuits through the groups to answer questions, to encourage positive behavior, and to redirect off-task behavior. It's a good idea to vary the starting point of each circuit and perhaps the direction. The first circuit is relatively quick, just checking to be sure everyone has started and cooperative group roles have been assigned. Not enough time has passed to give any comments on sustained effort. As more time passes, positive teacher comments will carry more weight. The teacher circulating and commenting to students is very important because in addition to effort scoring, teacher comments are also consequences of student behavior. In fact, teacher comments act both as consequences of current behavior and as an antecedent to either continue current behavior, PIC, or change current behavior, NIC. Students will perceive teacher comments as hints to their current effort score. By putting the focus on student effort, teachers will find it easier to promote grit and a growth mindset and to urge off-task students to apply themselves. Is everyone on number 2 yet? All right, good job, Group 3.
How am I doing now?
Looks like you're doing great, Bobby. Keep it up. But I won't be able to give you full effort credit. Do you know why?
Because I didn't go to my seat right away?
Correct, but keep it going with your good effort. This entire group is doing great. Getting the attention of a student or a group and giving a nonverbal message is also very effective. I'm happy to see this group attacking number 5. Be careful, it's challenging. We'll get it, Coach. Landon, why haven't you started yet? What's this? You're working on science now? But it's due next hour. Doesn't matter. I need you to focus on language arts. I'll keep this until class is over. The teacher moves on to give Landon a chance to get back on task and enters a low score in the effort scoring app. This score will be raised if Landon chooses to stay focused on language arts for the rest of the class period. At or near the end of the allotted time, the teacher makes adjustments to scores already entered. All the students except Kayla stayed on task, so the teacher raises their scores, but not to full credit. Maximum effort for most students will look similar, but students should be scored on the basis of their own capabilities. The teacher then selects the Score All Students button, and since most of the class deserves full credit, selects the 30-point option. The teacher then makes changes on a few students that did not quite meet their full effort capabilities. Okay, class is almost over, and I would like to say 2 things. Number 1, I saw a lot of students with strong effort today, so thank you for that. And number 2, please remember to go to your E4Effort student portal and enter your effort scores for today. I want to see if our assessment of your effort is similar. Also, reminder, entering your daily self-management scores is worth 25 points per week, and you cannot go back in time to enter your scores. They can only be entered for the current date. And yes, you can enter your scores from a cell phone, just not during the school day. As I mentioned, I saw a lot of strong effort today, so many of you were eligible for an effort award. Congratulations to today's winners, Paige, Ilana, and Damon. The recognition category will be covered after behavior. Next up is the behavior category. Because classroom rules, routines, and expectations were likely introduced and reviewed during the first few days of the semester, the antecedent for the behavior category occurs when the students enter your room. They know where they are and what is expected. The behavior we want is for students to comply with all classroom rules, routines, and expectations. Unlike the other effort categories, we do not recommend scoring behavior in the moment, because doing so often leads to students becoming stubborn or defiant. It's better for students to know that their behavior will be scored based on bigger chunks of time. Because behavior category scoring is not done at the time of each behavior incident, it will be considered either a PFC, positive future certain, equals high effort score, or NFC, negative future certain, equals low effort score. Most students can be scored based on teacher reflections of behavior at the end of each week. Some students may be on a point card or need to be scored daily. How to set that up will be covered soon. Relying totally on your memory at the end of each week can be problematic, so it is helpful to utilize a record-keeping method to aid behavior scoring. For example, a spreadsheet on a clipboard with your main rules at the bottom. Either during class, at the end of class, or at the end of the school day, make some notations. Here a number code is used to reference specific rules, and additional notes are occasionally added for clarity. The app's behavior category has been selected. It's the end of a 5-day week. Each day is worth 10 points. So the maximum point value is raised to 50 points. I would like the student list order on the app to match the behavior spreadsheet, which lists students alphabetically by first name. So I select the menu bar and then switch the order from the seating purple to first name. Also, this week the students were told that they would be scored based on their compliance with all classroom and school rules, with an emphasis on rule number 3, being respectful. So I select the subcategory respectful. This week, the most common score for this class is full credit excellent, so I select the Score All Students button and then excellent. Next, I reflect on each student's behavior and refer to the behavior spreadsheet to help me determine the appropriate score. Some transgressions are more costly than others in terms of behavior scoring. For example, a student out of their assigned seat or on their phone would have their weekly behavior score reduced to a greater extent than a student who blurted a response without being called on. Just like all the other effort categories, behavior scoring is based on your assessment of what each student is capable of. When you finish scoring, or as you go down the list, you may decide to add a behavior comment to one or more students. Just reselect the student's score and then the button that reads Add Additional Comments. Select a behavior stem that fits and either type or dictate your comment. Remember to click the Save button. Behavior stems can be edited by choosing Settings from the home page of your effort scoring app. Behavior comments go to the student's portal and any Guardian portal connected to the student's portal. Guardians also receive an email notification that a behavior comment has been created. This section covers 2 options for the behavior category. Number 1, scoring a subset of your class daily. You may have a subset of your class that would benefit from more frequent behavior scoring. Number 2, replacing behavior point sheets with the behavior comments feature. No need to print point sheets or rely on the student to carry and present point sheets to teachers. Points can be sent instantly using the behavior comments feature. Inputting behavior scores on a daily frequency can be beneficial for students that consistently defy classroom rules. This is especially true if the student knows that one or more family members and/or school staff will be monitoring all of their effort scores and checking in with them regularly. The family member and/or school staff person becomes what E4Effort calls a guardian of the student. From the Guardian's portal, the Guardian can see how the student is doing overall and in each of the effort categories. Filter the data to show less time, for example, today, or last 7 days. If a guardian wants to see score entries for a particular effort category, they can click on the effort category of interest. When the behavior category is selected, the Guardian view changes to the Scores tab and shows only behavior category scores. Filter to any category by clicking on one of these boxes, or click on the overall box to see all scoring events. Use the search feature to find scores for a particular date. For students being scored daily, it's a good idea to communicate with the guardian and the student the level of rule compliance needed for good behavior scores. For example, you may decide that for a student who often talks out of turn, following all rules and blurting 2 or less times would be scored as 9.5 out of 10. Adding an E4Effort guardian. Guardians may be added directly from a student portal by selecting Guardians from the side panel, the plus new Guardian button, and then entering the guardian's name and email address. Phone number is optional. To add a guardian to one or more students from the teacher dashboard, select Settings from the side panel and then Guardians. Select the plus new Guardian button, choose the student or students the guardian will be assigned to, and then enter the guardian's name and email address, followed by the Save button. Next, create a seating so that students that are scored daily can be bunched together at the top of your effort scoring app. Select the desired course, then the Seatings tab, and the plus new Seatings button. To make it easy to locate students, choose the by first name option. Give the seating a name, for example, Behavior. Next, create 2 groups. Name one group Daily and the other group Weekly. Drag the students who will be scored daily into the Daily group. Then use the Place Students button to add the remaining students to the Weekly group. Next, open your Effort Scoring app to the Behavior category. Select the menu bar, and under Select Order, choose Behavior. The 3 students in the Daily group will be at the top. After you finish scoring each day, you can leave the scores because scores in the categories of Ready, On Task, and Behavior automatically reset each evening. Or if you would like to clear scores immediately, you can scroll to the bottom and select the Reset Scoring button. At the end of the week, score your daily students first and then adjust the maximum point total to match the number of days for that week. For example, 50 points for a 5-day week. Use the Score All Students button to choose what you believe is the most common score for the week. Next, change scores of any students whose score should be different from the most common score. Another option for the behavior category is to replace student behavior point sheets with the scoring app's behavior comments feature. First, connect a facilitator of the behavior point sheet as an E4Effort guardian of the student. The facilitator is the staff person who monitors the student's behavior points. Use the same steps to connect a guardian as those shown earlier. Here, the point sheet facilitator, Melissa Jorgensen, is being connected to the student, Roger Marshall. Next, we'll look at how to rename one of the effort scoring app's behavior stems, and then show an example of scoring a student's behavior points with the Behavior Comments feature. Changing a behavior stem. From the home screen of your effort scoring app, select Settings, then the Behavior Comment Defaults button. Pick a default stem to change, but keep the stem See Comment. It's a catch-all, and a stem needs to be selected for a behavior comment to save. Here, unapproved phone use is changed to Behavior Points. Next, the Reorder Comments button is chosen, and Behavior Points is moved to the top. Use the back button several times to get back to the home screen. Using the Behavior Comments feature to document behavior points for one or more students. The teacher should have their own copy of each student's behavior point sheet for reference. Open the Effort Scoring app to the Behavior category. Roger's behavior effort points have already been scored for today as 10 out of 10. Click on Roger's name. Select the Add Additional Comments button. Select the stem Behavior Points. And type or dictate today's points in the same order as they appear on the behavior point sheet. Roger receives 4 points for staying in his assigned seat, 4 points for being kind to his classmates, and 3 points for staying on task for a total of 11 points. Select the Save button and that's it. When the comment is saved, email notification is sent to all of the students' guardians. The email will contain a behavior comment link. If the guardian is already signed in to their E4Effort account, Clicking the Behavior Comment link will take the guardian directly to the student's Behavior Comments page. The final category on the effort scoring app is recognition. Everyone likes to have their efforts recognized. Scoring and reporting student effort is one way to give students recognition. The recognition category goes further by allowing the teacher to easily award gold, silver, or bronze effort award badges to deserving students. Effort awards may either replace or supplement current school reinforcement programs such as the Green Ticket program shown in the image. Effort award badges are sent to the student portals of effort award winners. Effort awards are given to students in recognition of their recent strong effort in meeting or exceeding expectations in both behavior and learning. These badges also include effort shares, or points, that accumulate in each student's portal. Effort shares can be viewed as bonus points that are accumulated but not traded, bonus points that are traded, for example missing assignments, currency in our optional paperless rewards program called Buybacks. For more information about effort shares and buybacks, see the Buybacks tab at E4Effort.com. Two examples of how to incorporate effort awards into your classroom. Number 1, effort awards chosen daily with public announcement of recipients. Number 2, effort award recipients chosen on a weekly basis with no public announcement. Just a general announcement. For example, more effort awards were given out on Saturday for last week's efforts, so check your E4Effort student portal. Here are some pointers for incorporating effort awards on a daily basis. Announce awards at the end of class or at the start of class the following day. If you miss a day, the students will often remind you to double up the next time. Nearly all students enjoy hearing their name announced as an effort award winner. Some students let their excitement show, especially those who don't often receive positive attention. The goal with daily scoring would be to give all students a chance at an effort award within a certain number of school days, for example 10. For a class of 30 students, this means an average of 3 effort award winners each day. When announcing daily winners, do not announce effort award colors. This would needlessly invite comparisons. Just announce names. For example, congratulations to today's effort award winners, Golden, Natasha, and Lanny. For the recognition category, student names will appear in a random order. The teacher decides between 3 options. Option number 1, award the student a gold, silver, or bronze effort award and corresponding effort shares. This action will automatically send a badge to the achievements page of the student's E4Effort portal and an email notification to any guardian attached to the account. Option number 2, select one of the no medal buttons. The student will not receive a badge, but by selecting one of the no medal buttons, you will record that the student had a turn during this round of effort awards. You may choose between adding 4, 2, or 0 effort shares to the student's total. Option number 3, use the forward arrow button to skip the student. Some teachers allow 1 skip per student per round when needed. If the student is again not eligible for an effort award the second time their name is randomly selected, the teacher would select one of the no medal options. To help you decide effort award winners, the average of each student's last 3 scores is shown just under the student's name. But for effort awards given out daily, the last 3 scores likely do not include any scoring from the behavior category. Therefore, consider recent compliance with classroom rules before deciding whether or not a student should receive an effort award. The last 3 scores for this student averaged to 93.3%, and his classroom behavior was good, so a silver award is selected. The student Natasha has a 3-score average of 95%. She also complied with all classroom rules, so a gold effort award is selected for her. Next is Margaret, whose 3-score average is borderline for a bronze award, and she was redirected several times for talking out of turn. Rather than select a no medal option for Margaret, the teacher chooses to skip her. Then the teacher makes another decision. Knowing that E4Effort is a tool that the teacher can overrule, the teacher decides to skip Geraldo, who almost always earns gold effort awards, and instead awards a student who seldom wins effort awards and who has had 2 solid effort days in a row. You know the saying, catch 'em being good. In case you're wondering, Geraldo will be put back in the random list of unscored students and will no doubt earn a gold effort award soon. To find the preferred student more easily, the teacher selects the menu bar and then selects List View. The teacher gives Lanny a gold award and then switches back to Card View. Weekly effort awards. The following steps for selecting effort award recipients on a weekly basis will be demonstrated shortly. You may want to try both daily and weekly options before deciding which one you prefer. Step 1. Enter weekly behavior category scores. Step 2. Open the teacher dashboard to the desired course. Step 3. Change the date range selector to display last 7 days. Step 4. Open your effort scoring app to the recognition category of the same course that you opened in Step 2. Step 5. Refer to the students table as you decide which effort award, if any, a student has earned. Step 6. Go through half of your class each week. This is a recommended pace. Some teachers may choose to make effort award decisions for the entire class every week. We advise to forego public announcements of effort award winners when scoring recognition on a weekly frequency. Instead, just let students know what day they should check the achievements page of their student portal. Demonstrating steps 1 through 6. Step 1. Enter weekly behavior scores. Make sure behavior scores are up to date so that they will be included in the weekly data that is referenced when assigning effort awards. Open the behavior category of the effort scoring app and enter behavior scores. Step 2. Open your E4Effort teacher dashboard to the desired course. Step 3. Change the date range selector to display last 7 days. Step 4. Open your effort scoring app to the recognition category of the same course. Step 5. Refer to the students table as you decide which effort award, if any, a student has earned. The primary data to check is the overall percentage column, which is a weighted average of the 4 effort categories. It is a good idea to let students know the percent range that corresponds to a given effort award. You may want to start with wider ranges that narrow as the semester progresses. Since there are 24 students in this class, and in this example the teacher is on a 2-week completion schedule, 12 students will be scored as they appear in random order. Make sure that for each round of effort awards, one of the options, effort award or no medal, is selected for each student. Unless you have new students added to a course, at the end of each round, all students should have the same number of recognition turns. You can check this by selecting the desired course from Shares on the side panel. Since this class is halfway through a round, half the students will have had 3 recognition turns, and the other half 4. This concludes PD Part 2, How to Score Student Effort. Thanks for watching.